member who was arrested for domestic battery.
Violently attacked a woman physically and sexually.
The border crisis is real here in Wisconsin.
Criminal gangs harming our community.
We're stretched thin. Open borders and weak politicians are crushing us.
Rebecca Cook is one of them. She doesn't back law enforcement. She'll never secure the border. Doesn't even want to.
That's why we stand with Derek Van Orton. He has our back.
And I've got yours. I'm Derek Van Orton, and I approve this message.
National Democrats are spending millions on deceptive ads like these that lie and try to confuse you. Why? Because Democrats like Harris and Baldwin don't want you to focus on their radical record, allowing men to compete in girls' sports, funding a clinic that offers transgender therapy to minors without parents' consent, giving stimulus checks to illegals while Wisconsin families struggle. Baldwin and Democrats want you to focus on anything but their radical agenda.
I'm Eric Hufty, and I approve this message.
As a prosecutor, I never asked a victim or a witness, are you a Republican or a Democrat? The only thing I ever asked them, are you okay? And that's the kind of president we need right now. Someone who cares about you and is not putting themselves first. I intend to be a president for all Americans and focus on investing right now in you, the American people. And we can chart a new way forward. I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
It can be backbreaking work all day, every day, pretty much on your feet. So it burns me up when Eric Hovde says people in Wisconsin don't work hard. The guy is a multi-millionaire California banker. He has absolutely no idea what we're going through. He's living the high life out there in a big fancy house. He even brags about being in the 1%. Listen, don't come here and tell us we're not working hard when we are just getting by. Eric Hovde doesn't respect us at all. The guy's a straight-up jerk. The STC is responsible for the content of this ad.
It seems like everyone in Washington is either too far left or too far right. I'm Rebecca Cook, and like most folks in Wisconsin, I'm somewhere in the middle. I'll stand up to Democrats to fight for a secure border and stop wasteful spending. I'll stand up to extremists like Derek Van Orden, who wants to ban all abortions with no exceptions. Like you, I'm fed up and ready for change. I approve this message because it's time that we sent one of us to Congress.
I'm Anna. I'm an OBGYN. I've made my career helping women and families have babies. Making the decision to have an abortion is painful. And for me, it was personal. When my pregnancy was in crisis and the child I wanted and loved had a devastating diagnosis, we chose to have an abortion. Politicians like Donald Trump have no right to make that medical decision for me and my
Live from Rhinelander, this is News Watch 12 Weekends, the Northwood's best news. With Jake Force, meteorologist Conrad Sapinski, and Drew Chelly with sports. News from where you live starts now.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Jake Force. The Green Bay Packers hosted the Minnesota Vikings today in Jordan Love's first game back since injuring his knee a few weeks ago. Newswatch 12's Drew Chelly has the recap of the game from Lambeau Field.
It was a loud Lambeau Field when Jordan Love took the field for the first time since his Week 1 injury against the Eagles. But then the Minnesota Vikings took the field. Then it was 28-0. And despite a valiant effort, the Packers fell 31-29 this afternoon and dropped to 2-2 on the season. The first half was just one bad play after another, and it was capped with this. Sam Darnold to the corner, and this catch by Justin Jefferson just blanketed in coverage. He brings it in. 28-0 Minnesota. Let's go to the fourth quarter. It's 28-14, and the defense makes a play. Keyshawn Nixon with the corner blitz. He gets to Darnold. Ball is loose. Packers recover, and just like that, they have a chance to make it a one-score game. Couple of plays later, Jordan Love to Tucker Kraft. Kraft going to stay in bounds. He gets into the end zone for the touchdown. The Packers, once down 28-0, cut the deficit down to 6 with just 10 minutes to go. After the Vikings field goal, the Packers and Love go deep, and this was the backbreaker as Love is picked off for the third time in the game. It was one of 4 turnovers for Green Bay. Here's what Love had to say post-game about the interception.
As a quarterback, you just got to be able to see that and get to a quicker route or have some better options and just signal a different play out. But in that instance, I could just throw the ball away, throw it out of bounds, and live to fight another day. After
a late touchdown, the Packers needed the onside kick. They couldn't come up with it. Vikings hold on to win 31-29. A 2-point loss in which the Packers missed 2 field goals. Here's what Matt LaFleur had to say about kicker Braden Narveson.
I got a lot of confidence in Braden. I do. I think that, I know it's tough. We all want the results. I think he's a young guy, and a lot of times with young kickers that you go through this. Certainly, I think I know he's disappointed, but I still got a lot of belief in him.
So a tough Week 4 loss here at Lambeau Field. In this league, you cannot fall behind 28-0 and expect to win many games. The Packers fall to 2-2. Now they head out west. Next Sunday, they will be in Los Angeles when they take on the LA Rams. Here at Lambeau Field, I'm Drew Shelley, Newswatch 12.
All right, Jake, another toasty day out there for today. Look at this. Hope you enjoyed the outdoors. Of course, I was out there for a little bit. 81 degrees in Tomahawk, 79 here in town, 77 in Eagle River, Land O'Lakes. You were near 80 degrees once again. Even some low to mid 80s in some spots in central parts of the state. So yes, once again, well above average temperatures. We should be right around 63 degrees as a high. Average low this time of year is around 40 degrees. So we will continue to stay above average, especially into Monday. By Tuesday, we're going to see temperatures back in those low 60s, and then we're going to trend upwards. We're going to be back in those mid to upper 60s the rest of next week. Now, a little bit more of a cooler start to the day. Back at around 40 in Tomahawk, 45 here in town, 41 in Eagle River, mid 50s right into the central part of the state. Other than that, lots of sunshine. I don't even see any clouds outside like forecasted. We will continue to stay clear overnight tonight as low temperatures cool off, still above average, hovering back in those mid-40s. Jake?
All right, thanks, Conrad. Longshore workers at East and Gulf Coast ports could go on strike Tuesday, which could choke off many popular products. Businesses have been watching the strike deadline, and many are doing what they can to prepare for a shutdown. It could lead to shortages of chocolate, alcohol, and popular fruits, including bananas and cherries. An extended strike could also lead to shortages of certain cars. And on top of that, it could mean higher prices for the goods that are still available. One sector that might not be impacted as much is holiday shopping. And that's because this time of year, retailers have already stocked about 70% of their anticipated holiday products. New research is shedding light on child sexual assault and its connection to social media. Many parents let their children use social media, where some connect with predators. Researchers are scheduled to speak about the issue Sunday at the American Academy of Pediatrics. That obviously already happened, in an exhibition in Orlando. The new study, which will be presented at the conference, found that about 7% of children ages 10 to 18 who were treated for sexual assault at a California hospital between 2018 and 2023 met their attacker through social media. The lead researcher said social media platforms can present a false sense of security and so-called friendship. Other researchers say that the threat from social media has changed the way parents need to protect their kids, and they recommend closely keeping track of who children are talking to on social networks. With 36 days until the U.S. presidential election, the conversation around ballot security has once again taken center stage. I caught up with the Hazelhurst town clerk to witness firsthand how the absentee and early voting ballots are shipped out, processed, and counted, as well as how the process is different in small communities.
In small communities, it's easier because a lot of us know everybody. I mean, yes, we have just about 1,000 registered voters in Hazelhurst, and I don't know them all. Of course, I don't know them all, but I know a lot of them.
As the presidential election nears and early voting starts to ramp up, Newswatch 12 checked in with Hazelhurst Town Clerk Christy Mishishin to learn about some of the crucial aspects of the process, like how you can only submit your own ballot for early voting.
They can drop them, hand them to me, but only the person voting can hand it to me. I cannot take a spouse's or a child's, or an adult child's from a parent or a spouse.
Since the Wisconsin Supreme Court's recent ruling legalized the use of ballot drop boxes, many have raised concerns over ballot security. But Ms. Chisholm says the boxes are no different than other early or absentee methods that have been widely used for a long time, like leaving your ballot in your mailbox to be picked up or bringing it to the post office, adding that since boxes are locked, she and her colleagues would notice if they had been broken into. Ms. Chisholm then detailed how the process looked once she verifies that a ballot is good to go.
And I've marked it in my log.
Right.
I take it over to my trusty little box over here for the ones that I've received, and I will put it in alphabetical order. And this one is a W, so I would just put it in alphabetical order there. And then they sit there until election day, or well, the day before election. We'll go through and number them all with a red ink or pencil. And then the morning of the election, we open them, put them through our machine, save the certification envelopes, because those all go back to Oneida County. So there's I myself and then my two chief elections inspectors. We sit down and we go through this process.
And Ms. Chisholm did address the one part of the process that could raise questions about voter fraud, which is that absentee voters don't have to re-register for every time they vote absentee, which may cause us to think that deceased people can have votes submitted on their behalf. But Ms. Chisholm said she would be able to catch it.
I have 20 of them, 20 people that I send absentee ballots to as permanent, because they have indicated that they're indefinitely confined. So, and I know all of them. So it would be really hard to do that in a small community.
It seems like everyone in Washington is either too far left or too far right. I'm Rebecca Cook, and like most folks in Wisconsin, I'm somewhere in the middle. I'll stand up to Democrats to fight for a secure border and stop wasteful spending. I'll stand up to extremists like Derek Van Orden, who wants to ban all abortions with no exceptions. Like you, I'm fed up and ready for change. I approve this message because it's time that we sent one of us to Congress.
My husband and I are going through IVF treatments now. It could be our only chance to have a family. But Donald Trump's plan could ban IVF in some states. My husband is in the military. He volunteered to serve. We are patriots and we go where he is assigned. What if we end up in a state where IVF is no longer legal? What will we do then?
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
This is Ford Truck Month, with big offers on the trucks that don't subscribe to the word impossible. Like the off-road ready Ranger, the adaptable Maverick, plus F-Series, America's best-selling trucks, featuring the 2024 Ford F-150, and Super Duty, the North American Truck of the Year, all with offers that make owning one possible. This is Ford Truck Month. Lease a new Ford F-150 STX for $329 a month for 36 months, only at your local Wisconsin Ford dealer.
While families struggle to pay bills, Harris and the Democrats are wasting our tax dollars on their extreme liberal agenda, giving government checks to illegal immigrants, funding a Madison clinic where minors get transgender therapy without parents' consent, pushing high schools to allow boys to compete in girls' sports. Senator Baldwin fights for this madness. Tammy Baldwin, radical, extreme, and wrong.
I'm Eric Hovde, and I approve this message.
Food support is just a call away. Call the Family Food Helpline.
And welcome back, folks. Let's talk about what is left over from Hurricane Helene. Now, of course, post-tropical, so just a low-pressure system at the moment, but you can still see that counterclockwise rotation down south into that Tennessee, Kentucky area, where it's still producing a good amount of rainfall. Still some flooding in western parts of North Carolina, Kentucky, Tennessee, and, of course, Florida, Georgia. They're cleaning up with everything that has been devastated down south. Of course, we will continue to keep everybody in our prayers. Now, for our area, no hurricanes, but we are looking at maybe just a little bit of rainfall. You see this line of green. That's showing maybe a few sprinkles outside. Monday nights into early Tuesday morning, right around that midnight time frame, we're going to see a little bit more clouds in the area. Other than that, we're staying mainly clear, especially by those early morning hours on Tuesday, and then even throughout the day on Tuesday. Lots of sunshine. Temperatures will be, of course, a bit cooler as that cold front comes in, and we will see some lower 60s in the forecast. Now, just a little bit of rainfall up north, especially right up into the UP. This is the next 7 days overall, though. Not much, maybe a few sprinkles here and there. Monday night, that is our only opportunity the next 7 days. Unfortunately, we do need the rain. We are in just a little bit of a drought. Now, muggy meter-wise, though, we're going to stay comfortable, good to go. Yes, as those showers start to roll in, more like sprinkles Monday night, dew points will start to rise just a little bit, right back down Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, into Friday. So we'll feel very comfortable outdoors with temperatures back in those 60s. So it is not going to be hot like today. We're right around 80 degrees, 81 in Tomahawk, 82 in the Wausau area. Stevens Point, you were at 81. Wisconsin Rapids, even in Wapaka, you were back in those lower 80s earlier today. That is above average for everyone, not record-breaking like what we saw out there yesterday. Now, temperature history, lots of red, right? Good sign. That means above average temperatures. The last couple of weeks, only 2 days, we saw temperatures near average. Other than that, wow, look at this, 70s and 80s down the board. 84 yesterday, 81 the day before that, 80 the day before that on Wednesday. So it's been feeling more like summer, more like we're backtracking, right, back to August. It's not feeling like it's almost October time frame. And the next couple of weeks, it does look pretty mild. Now, the next 7 days. So tomorrow we're going to be above average. Tuesday a bit cooler. And then we're sticking around still slightly above average temperatures through next week. And I'm looking at extended trends. It does look like those milder temperatures will still be in the forecast. Now, for tonight, though, we are looking at clear skies, areas of dense fog, temperatures right around 45 degrees. Now, for tomorrow, though, upper 70s and near 80 once again. Lots of sunshine, just a light breeze. Our 7-day outlook brought to you by Northwoods Furniture and Mattress does show that cold front coming in on Tuesday, and then we continue to stick around still a little bit above average in those mid to upper 60s the rest of next week.
All right, Conrad, thanks so much. More on Hurricane Helene as rescue efforts are underway as communities across several states are dealing with the aftermath of the severe storm. In North Carolina, emergency responders rescued more than 200 people from floodwaters, while more than 60 people in Buncombe County are still unaccounted for. About 2.5 million people are still without power across 5 states Sunday, and downed trees, landslides, and communication issues persist. Ivan Rodriguez is in Keaton Beach, Florida, where much of the town was leveled.
Communities in the southeast are grappling with widespread devastation after Helene made landfall as a Category 4 hurricane on Thursday. Asheville, North Carolina is experiencing the worst of it as entire communities have been trapped by floodwaters.
We've lost communications capabilities. It's very difficult for us to move around the community. Many of the roads are closed. Trees are down. We're clearing those as quick as we can. And a lot of the critical infrastructure that we become used to every day in normal times is now gone, and we have to work around it.
Hundreds of roads remain closed in western North Carolina Sunday. Crews are working to reach people who are trapped with limited supplies.
Our biggest need right now is to take care of the people that live in this community. We need water desperately. We have yet to receive any water.
Millions of people remain without power across several states, including Tennessee, where dozens had to be rescued from floodwaters on a rooftop of a hospital.
I've never seen a hurricane disaster in Tennessee that has looked like this, not in the years that I've been here.
In Florida, where Helene made landfall, communities were wiped out from storm surge and strong winds. Countless residents are displaced. Boil water notices are in place in multiple counties.
We've got a couple things to remedy, but then it's mostly going to be the homes and the businesses and fixing that.
In Keaton Beach, Florida, I'm Ivan Rodriguez reporting.
And the U.S. Justice Department is suing Alabama after the state removed more than 3,000 names from the eligible list of voters for the upcoming federal election. The voter purge violates a 90-day period before an election, which officials can't systematically remove people from the lists of voters. Alabama's GOP Secretary of the state says he removed the names because they were allegedly non-citizens, but he acknowledged some may have become naturalized citizens and may be eligible to vote. More than 700 people removed from the list have since re-registered successfully. The Justice Department says of all the people should be returned to the list so they can vote unimpeded on Election Day. At least 5 people, including a child, a port worker, and 3 engineers have been killed and 45 others wounded following Israeli airstrikes on Al-Hali power station in Hodeidah. Yemen. That's according to the Yemeni Ministry of Health. Rescue teams are searching for missing persons under the rubble, and the Israeli military confirmed on Sunday that it had targeted positions in Yemen, including a power plant and a seaport in Ras Issa and Hodeidah, which they claimed were being used by the Houthi rebel group. The Sikagan Chippewa community held their annual Manoomin rice harvest this weekend, and I caught up with some folks at their cultural campus to learn more about this essential tradition.
Manoomin harvest, or wild rice harvest, is an important staple for the tribe's diet, and it has been for years. I mean, it's really why we are here where we're at. Where Rice Lake here is where the food grows on the water.
The Sikagan Chippewa community held their annual Manoomin harvest in Crandon this weekend. Cassandra Gurkowski is the cultural activities coordinator for the tribe and says this weekend is filled with lessons on how to harvest the wild rice.
Coming out into the spot and dancing and having Roger teach us how to dance the rice, Chris and other instructors teaching us how to parch.
And Gurkowski did some of that dancing herself. She says that while it is fun, it's also hard work.
Yeah, it's definitely cardio, and it's extremely hot right now, and we're standing really close to the fire too, so it was really warm.
Tribal elder Chris McGeeshick says that this year's harvest wasn't particularly strong, which will lead to a winter of rationing for the tribe.
It is going to be in high demand, but the supply is going to be real low, so it's going to impact the community over the next year.
And while the harvest wasn't as fun as years past, these kids still had a great time at the harvest.
What was your favorite part of today?
Making the sticks and making the baskets. Today, for me, I think is just helping me learn more about what my community does, like for ricing, and helping me like learn the lakes, what's a good time to go ricing, like all that stuff.
Save 11% on your next big project at Menards. Transform your space with Manor Hill vinyl plank flooring. It's waterproof, durable, and clicks together for easy installation. Manor Hill vinyl plank flooring is $2.99 a square foot after rebate. Wrap up that bathroom project with our great selection of Lion showers, bathtubs, and surrounds. This elite tub and shower surround is now just $519.99 after 11% rebate.
Save big money at Menards.
Their Bidenomics led to the highest inflation in 40 years, highest gas prices ever, skyrocketing interest rates, unaffordable housing, incomes down, unemployment rising, and a recession now headed our way. Yet Kamala Harris is clueless.
We are very proud of Bidenomics. Bidenomics is working.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
ELM Repair in Edgar is a family-owned and operated full-service diesel repair shop. From pickups to semi-trucks to heavy equipment and RV service. If it runs on diesel, we can repair it. Want more power and better mileage? Our experienced professionals will get your truck running and at peak performance. With a state-of-the-art dyno and fully stocked parts department, we can even come out to you with our 24-hour mobile repair service. ELM is always looking for passionate and talented people to join our team. The Diesel Doctor. Have it done right the first time at ELM Repair.
Hi, I'm Karen from the Hearing House, and these are our grandchildren. Children are difficult to hear with anybody with hearing loss, and I know I would hate to miss out on anything they say.
Grandma, they're cheating.
Even that. If you're missing out on what they're saying, you're probably missing out on a lot more.
Love you, Grandma.
Aw, and they have important things to say.
Make your house a hearing house.
And welcome back. 2 days of heavy rain in the Himalayas has left more than 150 dead and 56 missing across Nepal. Monsoon conditions have brought daily life to a standstill, with schools closed for the next 3 days after the deluge triggered mudslides and floods across the region. Some parts of the capital city of Kathmandu recorded up to 12.7 inches of rain, which pushed the level of the Bagmati River up 7 feet past the danger zone. The rain is easing up enough for crews to get in and try to make rescues, but so far have made more difficult recoveries, including the bodies of 16 passengers on buses swept away on a key route into the capital city. Scattered showers are in the forecast, with more heavy rain unlikely. Airbnb is paying homage to legendary singer Prince. It says fans can soon book a stay at the Purple Rain House in Minneapolis. Prince bought the home back in 2015, months before he died, and it's been closed to the public until now. Airbnb is opening the home in honor of the movie Purple Rain's 40th anniversary. Barrett Leone has the details.
It's one of the most iconic homes in music and film history.
It's a total landmark, at least, here in Minneapolis for sure.
And now you have the chance to stay in it.
Welcome to the Purple Rain House.
It's part of Airbnb's Icons program. And in honor of the Minneapolis music legend himself, Prince. This year, his debut film, Purple Rain, celebrates 40 years.
Throughout, you'll see really fun nods from the spray-painted eyes behind the bed to the original puppet that was featured in the film.
From the little details.
One of my favorite parts of the experience for guests is the kids' closet.
To the big, like replica outfits with an opportunity to play dress up or rock out.
Authenticity was something that was super important to us when we were creating the space, and each room in this house incorporates different real-life elements, memories, or authentic items from Prince's personal collection.
The never-before-seen house.
There are Easter eggs planted throughout the space, but there is one really fun surprise, maybe down here in the basement.
That also showcases some never-before-seen artifacts, if you can find the hidden door.
I think these days when people travel, they're looking for so much more than just a place to stay. They're looking for a really one-of-a-kind experience.
The legendary Purple Rain House will be available for 25 total one-night stays. Each person will pay $7, which, if you know, is a nod to Prince's favorite number.
We want guests who stay here to really feel like they got a glimpse into the eclectic and vibrant world that Prince created through the lens of the kid. And what I hope they walk away with is just feeling like they've been able to connect with him or get to know him a little bit better as both an artist and a person.
And it would be nice with a little red Corvette outside. Airbnb says people can start booking reservations at the Purple Rain House starting October 3rd, and the company says it expects tickets will go fast. And the Milwaukee Brewers hosted the New York Mets in their final game of the regular season. Coming up on Newswatch 12, Saul Meyer will be here to break down what might be a future playoff matchup for the crew.
Keep 15 grand in your pocket when you buy your next truck. Check this out. This 2024 Cummins is 85 grand. This used 2024 is 70. Buy the used truck and keep the 15 grand. If you can't see the difference, why pay the difference? Come out to Len's Truck today. We have hundreds of high-quality used trucks, all priced to move.
Len's Truck. Len's Truck. We got the trucks at Len's Truck.
At Lakeside Living Design, we've always got something stylish in store for you. Whether you're looking for high-quality custom upholstery, decorative accessories and gifts, or are designing your space entirely from scratch, you'll have a friendly designer by your side sharing their expertise, helping you bring your unique style to life. So stop by, explore our showroom, and together we'll make your space feel just like home.
I'm Tammy Baldwin, and I approve this message.
Fentanyl is killing over 1,000 people a year in Wisconsin. New reporting shows that Eric Hovde is doing business with a bank accused of links to the Mexican drug cartel. Banco Azteca loaded up $26 million in cash and flew it to Eric Hovde's bank in California. Other U.S. banks have cut ties with this Mexican bank, but Eric Hovde took their money. That's 26 million more reasons you can't trust Eric Hovde.
Flannery Materials in Woodruff supplies homeowners, business owners, landscapers, and construction companies with exceptional materials for jobs both large and small, offering premium soil, sand, gravel, and rock supply with convenient pickup and delivery throughout northern Wisconsin and the UP. Formerly High Point Sand and Gravel Pit, Flannery Materials provides premium landscaping materials to help make your next project a dream come true. House demolition, lot clearing, debris removal, and concrete work available too. When you need material for your next project, Flannery Materials has you covered.
Celebrate the legendary Meatloaf and his hit songs, performed by the American Idol winner Caleb Johnson and the Neverland Express. featuring alumni of Meatloaf's official band. Celebrating Meatloaf is a fiery tribute to the iconic rock star. Celebrating Meatloaf comes to the Grand Theater Wausau Friday, October 25th. Tickets at grandtheater.org.
The Milwaukee Brewers were in action, hosting the New York Mets in their final regular season game of the year. Now, the Brewers already clinched the 3 seed, so a win or loss really does nothing for them. However, the Mets could potentially be who they face in the playoffs, so the Crew have that for motivation. Conversely, they could also have a chance to knock out the Mets out of playoff contention, who are in the bubble right now. First inning, the Mets came to play. Brandon Nimmo hits a liner to the outfield. Francisco Lindor's rounding third. The throw to home, not in time. Lindor has the lead for the Mets. He wasn't done there, though. 6th inning, he blasts this ball high and deep and over the right field wall for a solo shot, and the Mets are up 5-0 after the home run. Ninth inning, final chance for the Brewers, and Edwin Diaz strikes out Isaac Collins, and the Mets get the win 5-0 in a potential future playoff matchup. Here's what the NL standings look like after the Brewers lost. The top 4 seeds are set, with the Los Angeles Dodgers clinching the top overall seed in the NL. The Philadelphia Phillies are the 2 seed, and the Crew are the 3 seed after winning their divisions. The San Diego Padres clinch a playoff spot, but not their division. Then after those 4 teams, it's the Atlanta Braves and the New York Mets who are right in their mix, with 2 wild card spots still up for grabs. And let's take a look at the NFC North standings after the Packers lost to the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings are in first place, still undefeated after their win in Green Bay. The Detroit Lions are in second. They'll play the Seattle Seahawks on Monday. Then it's a tie between the Green Bay Packers and the Chicago Bears for 3rd and 4th, with both of those teams holding a 2-2 record after Week 4. We'll be right back after the break.
CT's Deli has made some changes, now offering hot or cold meals to go. More grab and go to shorten your wait time. Self-serve soups, signature sides, fresh entrees, salads, salad bar and poke bar, and smoked meats. CT's Deli, your favorite downtown Rhinelander sandwich spot.
It seems like everyone in Washington is either too far left or too far right. I'm Rebecca Cook, and like most folks in Wisconsin, I'm somewhere in the middle. I'll stand up to Democrats to fight for a secure border and stop wasteful spending. I'll stand up to extremists like Derek Van Orden, who wants to ban all abortions with no exceptions. Like you, I'm fed up and ready for change. I approve this message because it's time that we sent one of us to Congress.
It can be backbreaking work all day, every day, pretty much on your feet. So it burns me up when Eric Hovde says people in Wisconsin don't work hard. The guy is a multi-millionaire California banker. He has absolutely no idea what we're going through. He's living the high life out there in a big fancy house. He even brags about being in the 1%. Listen, don't come here and tell us we're not working hard when we are just getting by. Eric Hovde doesn't respect us at all. The guy's a straight-up jerk. DSTC is responsible for the content of this ad.
With Chevy trucks, be ready for adventure. With power you can count on. Capability that doesn't compromise. A hard-working EV with more range than any competitor. And the potential to take you anywhere. Get 0% financing plus make no monthly payments for 90 days on all 2024 Silverado 1500 pickups. Or get $5,750 total value on this Silverado. Visit WisconsinChevyDealers.com.
You've probably seen all these negative ads against me. Well, here's the deal. They are designed to tear us apart. But here's the truth. My life's work has been fighting on behalf of others. It's why I became a prosecutor, district attorney, and attorney general. I took out drug cartels and human traffickers to protect our communities. Look, everyone is tired of the petty, destructive politics. Let's turn the page and chart a new way forward. I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
CT's has made some changes to offer you more. Hot sandwiches still made to order. Online ordering with reserved parking and back. We DoorDash after the lunch rush. Lots of seating options to enjoy with friends. Outdoor dog-friendly patio in downtown Rhinelander.
Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it.
Buzz driving is drunk driving.
And finally tonight, Earth now has a second moon. Well, at least for a while. A newly discovered asteroid is joining the Earth's orbit. Scientists call it a, quote, mini moon, and they estimate it's only about 37 feet in diameter, but more observations are needed. The mini moon is expected to orbit the Earth starting Sunday, going through November 25th, and that's when the space rock will return to a heliocentric orbit, which is an orbit around the sun. And scientists say the asteroid is more than 2.5 million miles away and is not in danger of colliding with the Earth. So everybody make sure to watch out for that. And that'll be Newswatch 12 for this Sunday night. Make sure to be up bright and early at 5 a.m. with Michael Ludholtz and Conrad Supinski for Newswatch 12 today. I'm Jake Force. Thank you so much for being with us, everybody, and have a great night.
I'm Anna. I'm an OBGYN. I've made my career helping women and families have babies. Making the decision to have an abortion is painful. And for me, it was personal. When my pregnancy was in crisis and the child I wanted and loved had a devastating diagnosis, we chose to have an I'm Anna. I'm an OBGYN. I've made my career helping women and families have babies. Making the decision to have an abortion is painful. And for me, it was personal. When my pregnancy was in crisis and the child I wanted and loved had a devastating diagnosis, we chose to have an abortion. Politicians like Donald Trump have no right to make that medical decision for me and my family. Women are nearly dying because of these Trump abortion bans. As an OBGYN, I can't tell you how dangerous this is. And as a mother who's had a miscarriage, I can't think about living in a world like that. But in this election, there's a choice. Kamala Harris believes it's women and not politicians who should be making their own healthcare decisions. She's not going to stop until reproductive rights are restored. She just trusts women, and that's exactly what we need in a president.
ABPAC is responsible for the content of this ad.
Leisure City, your backyard headquarters of the North.
Get the best tire prices, period, during the Factory Direct Tire event at Sherrill Tire and Auto Service. Up to $200 back by online or mail-in rebate on a select set of 4 Goodyear tires when you use the Goodyear credit card. Through November 1st at Sherrill Tire and Auto Service. Find your location at SherrillTire.com.
Kamala supports taxpayer-funded sex changes for prisoners.
Surgery.
For prisoners.
For prisoners, every transgender inmate in the prison system would have access.
It's hard to believe, but it's true. Even the liberal media was shocked Kamala supports taxpayer-funded sex changes for prisoners and illegal aliens.
Every transgender inmate would have access.
Kamala's for they, them. President Trump is for you.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
This is Ford Truck Month, with big offers on the trucks that don't subscribe to the word impossible. Like the off-road ready Ranger, the adaptable Maverick, plus F-Series, America's best-selling trucks, featuring the 2024 Ford F-150, and Super Duty, the North American Truck of the Year, all with offers that make owning one possible. This is Ford Truck Month. Choose FlexBuy on F-150 and get 0.9 for 66, plus 2,000 FlexBuy cash, 1,000 low APR cash, plus 1,000 open bonus cash.
From the moment we get up until the time our day draws to a close, technology is at work in our world. Each of us has just one life, and we want yours to be extraordinary. That's why Cellcom built a network to support big moments and small victories, so you can enjoy every glorious sunrise and sunset along the way. It's technology with a heartbeat.
While families struggle to pay bills, Harris and the Democrats are wasting our tax dollars on their extreme liberal agenda, giving government checks to illegal immigrants, funding a Madison clinic where minors get transgender therapy without parents' consent, pushing high schools to allow boys to compete in girls' sports. Senator Baldwin fights for this madness. Tammy Baldwin, radical, extreme, and wrong.
I'm Eric Hovde, and I approve this message.
The Factory Direct Tire event at Sherrill Tire and Auto Service has the best tire prices, period. Through November 1st, get up to $200 back by online or mail-in rebate on a select set of 4 Goodyear tires when you use the Goodyear credit card. Sherrill Tire and Auto Service. Find your location at SherrillTire.com.
Kick off your shoes, stay right there. Sit yourself down in an easy chair. Max is gonna give us a taste of the outdoor life. We got ducks to hunt and fish to catch. Might even take us to a shooting match. Let's join Max for a bit of the outdoor life.
The Outdoorsman is brought to you by Outdoorsman International. Connect and subscribe via our social media pages. Welcome to The Outdoorsman. I'm Max McNeely. This episode, we're touring Southern Africa. We'll visit Kruger Park and go off in pursuit of some world-class blue and black wildebeest hunting. Stay tuned. It all gets started right after this.
Most people call leaf filter when their gutters are clogged and they notice one of the many issues that can bring. Well, sometimes it's the smell of mildew when water has seeped into the interior walls, or maybe they've spotted mold in the attic. But most often, it's the more obvious signs of damage, like rotten soffit, fascia, or water pooling near their foundation. You can get ahead of costly damage by protecting your home's gutters today. We're in your neighborhood and ready to help.
Schedule your free gutter inspection today. Call 833-LEAF-FILTER or visit leaffilter.com.
Hey folks, Chris Coonihan here with Leaf Filter, America's largest gutter and gutter protection company. Leaf Filter has over 150 locations and has been installed on over 1 million homes. We've been protecting homes now for over 20 years. Our patented technology offers total protection for your home and comes with a lifetime transferable warranty. The process is simple. Give us a call to schedule your free gutter inspection. If you decide to move forward with the project, you put nothing down at all. 833-LEAF-FILTER or visit leaffilter.com today.
We're here with Chris Coonihan of our local Leaf Filter. Tell us how Leaf Filter is different from every other gutter protection on the market.
With Leaf Filter's patented filter technology, there are no gaps, no openings, no place for debris to get in at all. We install Leaf Filter on your existing gutters. You'll never have to climb a ladder to clean out your gutters again.
You know, that's peace of mind and then some. So how do people sign up?
Call 833-LEAF-FILTER today to schedule your free inspection or visit getleaffilter.com.
Your home is more than just a roof, walls, and windows. It's an investment, a place where memories are made with friends and family. Overhead Solutions wants to earn your business and help you with all of your roofing needs. Call us for a free estimate today.
The Freestyle Libre 3 Plus sensor tracks your glucose in real time. And over time, it can help lower your A1C. This is progress. Learn more and try for free at freestylelibre.us.
Planning an exciting outdoor excursion? You need the app from the weather team you can rely on. The WJFW Weather Watch app, featuring hourly and daily forecasts, high-resolution imagery, and opt-in push alerts to let you know when severe weather approaches. With all these features, you'll know the best days to cast a line or when it will be perfect to explore the wilderness. The WJFW Weather Watch app is available in your app store now. Weather Watch 12, from where you live.
This adventure